It's difficult to get up when you lay on a cold, hard ground. The gravity doesn't want you to get up. You just got a beating. And in a second, you will get a harder beating. Today, we will talk about the mind of a guy with some Spanish monsters inside of his mind. A mind truly moved. It's all about the world versus you in there. The world versus you and a few of your weird friends. You make quite an unlikely group, all of you. We will talk about all of these things, but our main topic today is going to be, in a way, gravity. After all, it's difficult to get up when you lay on a cold, hard ground, and the gravity doesn't want you to get up. Today we will talk about gravity in the work of Guillermo del Toro. Everyone knows Guillermo del Toro, and if there is someone who doesn't know his name, he or she would still recognize the films he made. The Devil's Backbone, El Espinazo del Diablo in Spanish, Hellboy and Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, Pacific Rim, Crimson Peak, and finally Pan's Labyrinth, or his latest flick, which earned him his first 2 Oscars, The Shape of Water. He is one of the famous Spanish three, consisting of himself, Alfonso Cuarón, and Alejandro González Iñárritu. And he's a truly celebrated filmmaker, having awards such as aforementioned Oscars, Golden Globes, BAFTAs, Annies, Bram Stoker's, Directors Guild of America's, PGA's, Film Independent Spirits, Gotham's, Satellites, Goyas or Hugos under his belt. Not to mention prestigious film festivals like Cannes, Palm Springs, Havana, Venice. And, with an Oscar win to his name, he is the guy from Monsters in Hollywood right now. His Pinocchio remake is probably finally on its way, but that's a fact. Let's face something less obvious. Let's face gravity. Because it's difficult to get up when you lay on that cold, hard ground and the gravity doesn't want you to get up. If you watch Guillermo del Toro's films closely, you will see that gravity is always somewhere there. It's always present. And gravity in Guillermo del Toro's films often takes form of tiny objects falling down from the sky, like the flakes of gold in a throne room in The Golden Army. They may stand for the proud, long-time dead history of the ancient folk of elves. These falling objects can be read as the last pieces of myths and memories of the old days of glory. But, on the other hand, the golden particles can also mean the unavoidable fate of Prince Nuada's quest. The myth-like past of his people is but a dust, falling from the sky. The gravity, the modern world in this example, allows Nuada to stay out there for a while, but eventually, it doesn't matter how big your army is. Without friends, you can't beat gravity. Or like snow in the first Hellboy film. It is a surprisingly delicate representation of how the world is afraid of him, the Hellboy, what means it is afraid of anything that's different, original, and that it wants to get rid of the problem. For example, by putting out fire with snow. Therefore, the snowy tiny objects falling down in this scene can be understood in 2 ways. Firstly, as the representation of humanity, and secondly, as a visual representation of our society. And when it comes to being an outsider in a society, no one gets it more than Hellboy, who is literally a devil among men. And men are afraid of anything that's different. That's why the gravity governing snow in this scene wants to bury Hellboy alive in snow. Or like the nightmarish House of Sharp of Crimson Peak, when Mia Wasikowska's character, young, unexperienced, and vulnerable Edith Cushing enters the manor for the first time, she encounters this sight.
We try to maintain the house as best we can, but with the cold and the rain, it's impossible to stop the damp and erosion.
Tom Hiddleston's Thomas Sharp gives a rather bleak explanation, which is not entirely satisfactory to nor Edith, nor to the viewer. However, Edith is a special person, for she is going to communicate with ghosts, and ghosts are our past. And, like Prince Nuadas and his elves' proud history, human society is afraid of the past that is not entirely known to it. The black, ashery particles falling down from the torn-apart rooftop of the Sharp Manor represent the possible outcome of communicating with past. Black will be the color of your bones, as they will be buried by the gravity. Hence, communicating with a ghost of a murdered person means unveiling a dark secret of a perfect society's past. This is why the gravity serves here as a warning. Don't be different. Stay on the ground. Speaking of ghosts, there is a specific example of gravity helping an individual, but there's a catch. The gravity helps the blood from the head of the ghost of the devil's backbone to float in the air. The gravity can pretend to help the ghost for a simple reason. Because the ghost is dead, and no one will hear its story, it will stay on the ground. Guillermo del Toro means outsiders, because he's an outsider to Hollywood as well. As a filmmaker, he is interested in telling the stories of the weak. He thinks it's important to give voice to the quietest of people. Who can be more lonely and less important than a girl in a Spanish dictatorship base in the woods? Fortunately, she's got friends. She doesn't want to stay on the ground. Who can be more quiet than a numb cleaning lady working in a military facility? However, she's got friends, fortunately. She doesn't want to stay on the ground. Del Toro isn't trusting towards any kind of mega companies or aggressive ideologies. He's not fond of their gravity. I believe that is why he crafts such scary yet at the same time heart and soul-warming tales. His monsters can be as scary as our society, he seems to tell us over and over again. Despite him fearing the human nature, he's also optimistic and childishly naive. Stick to your friends, no matter how weird they are. Accept their help. Take their helpful hand, even if it's difficult to get up when you lay on the cold, hard ground and gravity doesn't want you to get up. By believing in yourself and your friends, you will get up. Again and again. And eventually, you will triumph over the gravity, because, after all, the biggest possible insult to gravity is to fly. Hi, I am Kuba, and you are in my Moved Mind Season 2. I was pretty shitting my pants before writing about Guillermo's films, but I couldn't help it from the point where I noticed the objects falling down for the first time, somewhere around 3 months ago. But that was so much fun too. I hope you enjoyed it as well. And I can't be more excited for both this season's premiere and the whole season as well. This season's theme is authors, and I can't wait to dive into the works of the most interesting contemporary filmmakers with you. And as always, every brand new Move the Mind Season 2 episode comes out once for 2 weeks sharp. I will see you there. Dziękuję również Tobie, polski widzu. Witam w drugim sezonie Poruszonego Umysłu. Jego motywem przewodnim są autorzy i nie mogę się doczekać, by zgłębić twórczość najciekawszych reżyserów naszych czasów razem z Tobą. Oraz jak zawsze nowe odcinki drugiego sezonu Poruszonego Umysłu wychodzą równo co 2 tygodnie, więc do zobaczenia. Dzięki, że jesteście.